This is verse 11 of the book of Jude. Jude has just indicated that these who are the false teachers that he's been describing, who have secretly sneaked into the community of faith, they are libertines. They're trying to distort the grace of God, using it as an excuse for the cover of various kinds of immoralities. And he's indicated to them that they are like brute beasts, of course, in the previous verse. Born to be caught and killed, basically. He has very disparaging things to say about them. And then in this verse, he gives three very interesting, rather gripping examples from the Old Testament, each one highlighting, you might say, a different aspect of their behavior. So three altogether. Begins with the interjection, woe, uai, is the way it is roughly found in Greek. So woe, then the dative, to them, autois, dative, plural, masculine, and then three examples. Each one you'll notice is in the dative. We have hodo, the dative here. We have plane, the dative there, and then antilogia, the dative there. So each of this we're going to call the dative of reference, something like that. It's a way of putting a context and referring to a particular incident. So first of all, hoti, the conjunction because, te, the dative singular article, te hode, or te hodo actually, so it's with reference to the way would be the idea, and then of course to, the genitive singular masculine article with Cain, Cain, so with reference to the way of Cain, and then aporuthesan from poruomai, it means to go. They've gone. This is, of course, a deponent verb, so it's in the passive form. Third person plural, aorist passive indicative. So with reference to the way of Cain, they have gone. Probably highlighting the beginning of this. They've pursued the course of Cain, who was a murderer, of course, acting purely in self-interest. That becomes the commencement of the story. Then we have connection, kai, te plane. Plane is a word that means to commit an error. We get the word planet from it, which represents, of course, in the ancient view of things, those heavenly bodies that wandered. They wandered away. So with reference to the wandering or the error, the misguided direction, then to Balaam of Balaam. So the second example is Balaam, who was hired by Balak, of course, to entice the Israelite, or to curse the Israelites. Failing that, he, by the ancient record, actually counseled Balak as to how to get them to commit sexual sin. And so that's the error of Balaam. And then misthu, this is the word misthos, which means a reward. It's taken by this verb, ex ekouthesan. This is from ekeo, which means to pour oneself out literally, and it means to pursue something with a kind of irrational passion. Takes the genitive, so we have misthu in the genitive here. That's really the picture of Balaam. He knew better. He knew what he was doing was contrary to the mind of God. He couldn't even invoke his powers as a sorcerer to curse them, but then he gives counsel on the side to Balak as to how to trip up the Israelites. And so this is the way, you might say. We have the beginning of it highlighted with Cain. We have the way, the course, highlighted with Balaam. And then the third of the examples, kai, the connective, te, dative, again, antilogia. Antilogos, of course, logos is word. Antilogos is to speak against, to gainsay, to criticize, that sort of thing, to condemn, to try to bring something down by means of words, which is exactly the crime to Korah, of Korah, highlighted in the Old Testament in connection with the career of Moses. And then apollanto. This is from apoluo, it means to perish. And so with reference to the gainsaying or the critique or the references raised by Korah, they perish. That's the end of the story. So with the beginning, the middle, and the end that are all highlighted by these three Old Testament examples. And of course, the point that Jude is getting at here is that anyone who follows along with them is exposing himself or herself to the same perils that are highlighted here.